If you've noticed, MSNBC has really, they've been all about Elizabeth Warren. They make it like Elizabeth Warren has totally reinvented the wheel on grassroots fundraising. Elizabeth Warren gets the biggest crowds in this whole campaign. Elizabeth Warren has a plan for how you roll out of bed, for how you go to the bathroom safely. She's got a plan for everything, this Elizabeth Warren. And it's kind of embarrassing to watch, actually, because I don't think Elizabeth Warren is Joe Biden. Let's be clear. Got my issues with Elizabeth Warren, but she's not Joe Biden. However, Elizabeth Warren is, it's almost like there's human beings at these networks saying, drown out Bernie. Do whatever you got to do to make it seem like he's just so 2016. He's got no enthusiasm. It's not like he has over 1 million volunteers. It's not like he's gotten a record of over $2 million donations. It's not like he hasn't had 12,000 people at his rally. Gee, his kickoff rally in Brooklyn in February had 13,000 people. Let's forget that. But this clip really gave a tickle. Gave me a bit of a tickle. So let's take a look at MSNBC Warren, the MSNBC Warren clip from today, where MSNBC was gleefully talking about Elizabeth Warren is now out with a plan on criminal justice. Let's take a look.
Elizabeth Warren is in good company in terms of looking at that bill critically all of these years later and putting Joe Biden squarely in the crosshairs on it. And as it relates to her new policy, she says she wants to repeal the bulk of that crime bill, but she does want to keep certain parts of it that, if you talk to folks in Biden's world, they say that those parts have aged pretty well. I'm talking about the Violence Against Women Act. So Warren's not taking aim at that, but the rest of it, she says, must go. And I have to say, when you look at a crowd like the one that she drew last night, I know that the polls that Garrett is talking about shows that Biden has a commanding lead over the field. But crowds like the one that she got last night, 12,000 people, that's easily the biggest that she's ever had and definitely makes other campaigns take notice.
So, I don't know. Did something happen on Sunday? Bernie Sanders. Did something happen with Bernie Sanders on Sunday? I'm trying to think back. Yeah, he released an extremely comprehensive, very detailed criminal justice reform plan that many leaders in the black community were praising all over Twitter. I guess that's not a real plan. I guess that doesn't meet the very rigid standards of MSNBC. It's not as thought out. It's not as wonderful as Elizabeth Warren's plan. And again, no knock on Warren here. Like, it's good that she came out with a plan. In fairness, 12,000 people in a crowd in Minnesota. It's great. I'm not pretending she doesn't have any enthusiasm. She does. And she has gone up in the polls. I think it's been overblown because overall, she's still not leading and Bernie is in second place in way more of these polls nationally, as well as in the key early states. But, she has some momentum. But it's like MSNBC is literally pretending Bernie Sanders does not exist. And Elizabeth Warren, they're trying to frame it as Warren versus Biden. It's truly remarkable. Why, if you're a news person, why wouldn't you mention in the same breath, oh, and of course Bernie Sanders came out with a similar plan just 2 days ago. How do you leave that out? Unless you don't want it to be known that actually Elizabeth Warren isn't reinventing the wheel. Bernie Sanders has very comprehensive proposals. Your parent company just doesn't like his proposals. Frankly, I don't even think your parent company really likes Elizabeth Warren's proposals, to tell you the truth. But I think if given the choice, they would much rather prop up Elizabeth Warren in a quest to edge out Bernie Sanders. And if they are successful in edging out Bernie Sanders, then they'll turn on Warren too. It's just to say, if you have in front of you as a company, Comcast and MSNBC, two not great choices. One like an actual hardcore progressive, one kind of progressive when she feels like it. I'll take the progressive when she feels like it. I'll deal with her later. I just got to get rid of this guy. That is what's happening on MSNBC. It's also what's happening on CNN. I want to show you, I sent you that screenshot from CNN today, where a CNN anchor or CNN reporter, David something. So this was really remarkable because if you look at the lower part of the screen where, CNN writes in whatever the headline is that, again, what they're trying to frame. Let's take a look at this. So it shows a new CNN poll where Biden is, I think, at 29, Bernie's at 15, Warren's at 14, and the headline on CNN, Sanders and Warren even. Sanders and Warren is even. Well, that's interesting. Isn't that interesting? Because I think the number 15, I failed math in 11th grade, I think 15 is more than 14. And why I make this point, they're very close, 15 and 14. It's not like Bernie's killing her in this poll. But can you imagine if Elizabeth Warren was at 15 and Bernie Sanders was at 14 in this new CNN poll? That headline would be Biden extends lead, Warren surges past Bernie Sanders. So it's the different framing. When it's Bernie Sanders up a point over Elizabeth Warren, they're even. They're tied. But if it was Elizabeth Warren beating Bernie Sanders, you bet your bottom dollar the Warren surge continues. She takes the lead past Sanders. When's Bernie going to drop out? So in this poll, this is that poll. If you look, Biden is up. He's up from 22% to 29%. I'll get to that in a minute. Bernie's up a point. Warren's down a point from the last CNN poll. But they're even. This is why I headlined this video, that these networks, particularly MSNBC, they might as well just declare as super PACs. And I wouldn't even say they're a super PAC for Joe Biden or Elizabeth Warren. I just say they're an anti-Bernie Sanders super PAC. And frankly, you see Bernie Sanders campaign in little fits here and there speak out on this. I think it's time to go more aggressive. I'm not saying you have to go like they're fake news. I'm not saying that. We don't want to talk in, Trump's fascist tone. I think propaganda, there's a lot of propaganda going on these channels. And it's a disservice to their audience. Because this is why, frankly, you have a lot of older people in America, not generalizing all older people, because we do have older progressives in our audience. It's why you have a lot of older people that basically think nothing big is ever possible in this country. And it's radical to do like basic things the rest of the world does. Because they are brainwashed by these very channels to think, you gotta move to this non-existent center. And people just want, what is it, make America boring again? I mean, this is paid political operations, masked as news. Masked as news. And it's, frankly, it's way worse than I saw in 2016. Way, way worse than I saw in 2016 on the road. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.